Are live, starting in the second inning today. So it is Andre Pallante on the mound for the Cardinals. He's 26 years old. Not doing too well this year. -1 pitching run value. Nothing great except that great ground ball rate at 63.6%. The strikeout rate at just 15.5%. Going to need that to be higher over the rest of the year. But if he can keep throwing strikes, generally that'll work out. The walk rate at 8.1%. If you find the zone, that's when this defense can help you. So got to keep that walk rate low and try to produce some soft contact into the ground. So he is on the mound. Let's take a look at the lineups. We did miss the first inning, so what's happened so far has not been good for the Cardinals, but it was 2 outs to start the game, and then Barger, Kirk, and Springer all had hits. Springer had a soft double, which only drove in 1. And then Jimenez went down. So 1 run scored by the Blue Jays in the first, and then the Cardinals went 1-2-3 with Nootbaar, Wynn, and Donovan. So it'll be Contreras coming up in the bottom half of the second, but first we have to get through the top half. If we look at the lineup, Walker is still out. So Burleson is in right. Gorman getting to play DH today with Herrera behind the plate, which means Pajes gets the day off. And then if we look at the Blue Jays, they have Bichette at DH today, which means Clement is playing short. And here's the first pitch from Pallante to Schneider. Missed outside with the slider, 1-0. So this game is 1-0 in favor of the Blue Jays. They have 1 run on 3 hits. The Cardinals have 0s. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Up and in, fouled back, 1-1. So if we look at the Cardinals field today, it is Nootbaar in left, Burleson in right, Scott in center, Gorman at DH with Arenado at third, Contreras at first, Wynn at short, Donovan at second, and Herrera behind the plate. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Schneider. Up and away, popped up. That one is into the seats, 1-2. Over on the other side with Bichette playing DH, they have Guerrero at first, Barger at third, Jimenez at second, Clement at short, Clase in center, Schneider in left, Springer in right with Kirk behind the plate. And that is their lineup. So here's the 1-2 from Pallante to Schneider. Drops the curveball in the dirt, 2-2. Obviously, Berrios is going to be on the mound for the Blue Jays. He's already through 1 scoreless inning. Very efficient inning, just 11 pitches in the first. Pallante is on pitch number 20. Here's the 2-2. Inside, fouled off his foot. And Schneider might need a minute. So nobody on, nobody out. Schneider taking a little bit of a break after a foul ball off his ankle. All right, he's finished adjusting his gloves, stepping back in. Schneider's only played 13 games this year with a 740 OPS, 0.2 WAR. Here's the 2-2 from Pallante. Curveball low and away, ground ball too short. Mason Wynn is there, and there's 1 down in the second. So the first out is recorded. That'll bring up Ernie Clement. He has a .275 batting average this year, 697 OPS. Playing shortstop. 3 home runs. First pitch from Pallante is a hanging curveball, low and in, driven to left field. Nootbaar is going to have to range back to the wall, and it's going to be an easy stand-up double for Clement. So the Blue Jays are in business once again. A man in scoring position with just 1 out in the second. .76 miles an hour. Left it a little too high at that low and in sweet spot for any hitter. And now Clement is in scoring position. That'll bring up Jonathan Clase, playing center field today, hitting .207 on the year. First pitch from Pallante is low and in, doesn't get the call, 1-0. You wonder if Herrera costs the Cardinals some calls today with some bad framing, or whether the umpire's zone is just a little strange. Here's the 1-0 from Pallante. Swing and a miss on a fastball at the bottom of the zone, 1-1. Clase this season has a 540 OPS, so not a great year for him so far. By far the lowest on the Blue Jays. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Fouled back, 1-2. Santander is not in the lineup. I actually don't know what the situation is with him, whether he is injured or whether he just lost his spot against some pitching. I don't know. Here's the 1-2 to Clase. Slider in the dirt, 2-2. It's weird seeing a guy named Clase swing the bat. You're used to seeing Emmanuel Clase, the closer in Cleveland. Either way, this Clase is at the plate. Here's the 2-2 pitch from Pallante. Down and in, ground ball to second. Nice play by Donovan on the hop, and there's 2 outs. So Clement moves over to third. 2 away now in the top of the second, and that's going to bring up Bo Bichette at the top of the order. Bichette has a 740 OPS this year, which is about league average, with a 269 average. He is 0 for 1 so far today. Here's the first pitch. Inside, check swing, strike, 0-1. Cardinals giving Clement plenty of room at third base. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss on a curveball low and away. 0-2. It's good to see Herrera behind the plate again. He's not known for being a great defensive catcher, but when you have his bat in the lineup without costing you your DH, it can really add some depth to the lineup. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Bichette. No chase there. It's 1-2. That was a slider low and away. Bichette slightly above average with 2 strikes this year, 188 average. 34% strikeout rate in 2 strike counts. The 1-2 from Pallante. Smoked up the middle for a base hit, and it's going to be 2-0 Toronto early in this one. That was a fastball at the bottom of the zone. Bichette just got the barrel to it, drove it to center right. Basically up the middle, a little bit below the zone, but an easy pitch to hit for an experienced hitter. And that's what Bichette is at this point in his career. So 2-0, Bichette on first. Here's the first pitch to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He's a former MVP candidate. I believe this is the last year on his contract. He might have just got an extension. Forget which guys have been extended, but big year for Guerrero. He came into this season at least without a contract, so that was a storyline for a while. Might still be, I'll have to check. Settles back in. Here's the 1-0 pitch from Pallante. Slider right down the middle, fly ball into center. Catchable for Scott. He will make the play and will go to the bottom of the second, but the Blue Jays do add another one on a Bichette single after a Clement double. So the work is cut out for the Cardinals. It's 2-0. It'll be Contreras, Herrera, and Arenado. So let's take a look. First, let's take a look at Jose Berrios this year. A 128 whip, 3.67 ERA. He's also at -1 pitching run value, so him and Pallante rated about the same over the course of the year. Strikeout rate isn't bad at 22.2, but the walk rate is pretty high at 9.5. And all of the peripheral stats are below average, so just hasn't been perfect this year. There's nothing you can point to that really says he's been really good. I mean, this is just strictly a little bit below average. So, not much else to say about Berrios. This season, at least. He's usually a little bit better. Last year, he was better. 2 years ago, way better. 15 pitching run value. He had a way better walk rate, so he has the potential to bring that back down. He probably will. It's just a little bit high this year so far. And then due up, I mean, it's Herrera. We've seen him. Yeah, I'll just leave Berrios on the screen because that's the most important player in the following inning. And I need just 1 minute. Right, the game is back. Here we go. First pitch to Contreras is low and away, but catches the corner for a strike with a nice sinker. 0-1. Contreras hitting .250 this year with a .725 OPS. Playing first base for the first time in his career at the start of this season. Apparently the pitch comm is not working. There's going to be 3 righties for the Cardinals this inning. The reason Marmol stacks these guys is that Herrera has those reverse splits, so he's better against right-handed pitching, at least a lot of the time. So you can go Contreras, Herrera, Arenado, and have Herrera act as somewhat of a lefty, so you can do the balanced lineup card with righty-lefty, righty-lefty. So that makes a lot of sense. And pitch comm's still not working. They're going to the dugout. You can go to signs, like this is still baseball, especially with nobody on base. But I guess they just want to get it fixed. I guess the Astros kind of forced the MLB's hand when it comes to something like this. All right, so 0-1 count. Berrios finally back in play. Let's get it started. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Contreras. Low and away, that's a ball, 1-1. Contreras obviously had that horrible start to the year, was able to put it together. And he's been himself since then. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Way low and away with the changeup, 2-1. Cardinals coming off of a loss in Game 3 against the Dodgers. They were able to win the first 2 games, but their work is cut out for them now, already down by 2 runs in the second inning. Looking for their first base runner of the game here. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Outside, 3-1. So 3 balls and a strike on Contreras. Nobody on, nobody out. The pitch. Up and in with the sinker. Swing and a miss. It's 3-2. Contreras swung out of his shoes at that one, trying to get his barrel to that ball. So the count is full. Let's see if the Cardinals can have their first base runner. The 3-2 pitch. Okay, a very late timeout by Contreras after Berrios took a minute to deliver. And we'll have to do it again. Contreras does have 7 home runs this season. And Berrios is ready. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Way low and away with the slurve. That's ball 4. So Contreras reaches with nobody out. And that'll bring up Ivan Herrera. Herrera's been fantastic this year. Has a 938 OPS with a 316 average. He's been cooling off a little bit recently, but still has a great swing and could definitely keep it up if he sees a couple pitches he likes. Berrios is ready. Here's the first pitch to Herrera. Up and in, popped up, playable over at second, and the catch is made. So 1 down in the second. It is Jimenez playing second base today. It's going to bring up Nolan Arenado. Arenado hit a walk-off fly ball to left field against the Dodgers. In the second game of that series, was able to drive in the winning run. It wasn't a sac fly because there was no outfielder playing out there. They call it a single. Here's the first pitch to Arenado. Ground ball, easy play at short, flip to second for 1. They turn 2, and we go to the third inning. 2-0, Toronto. So still no hits, and the minimum for Berrios in just 20 pitches. So let's check out Addison Barger. Oh no, I did that whole inning without switching to the regular view, so my bad on that. Something definitely fell wrong. Oh well. No one was there. It's okay. Let's check out Addison Barger. So he's been pretty dang good this year, especially with the contact numbers. Does strike out a little bit above average, but walks above average as well. And then when he makes contact, it's been great this year. About 90th percentile or higher in everything except launch angle. Last year, these for the contact numbers there, they were not. So showed up this season. The fielding has been way better as well. He's having a great year over at third base at 25 years old. So Barger is due up. Who else? Alejandro Kirk and George Springer. Let's take a look. So Kirk so far this year, he's been pretty good. One of the best fielders in baseball, the best framing catcher. Really low strikeout rate at the plate. Really nice contact numbers. 740 OPS, above average hitting. This is great. Kirk has been really, really good at 26 years old. And then Springer. He's had a lot of injuries recently, but in the lineup this year. Playing every day. 15 batting run value. 863 OPS. He's been really, really good as well. So the Blue Jays have it going on over in Toronto. I haven't noticed. So let's get back to the game. Pallante versus Barger. First pitch strike, 0-1. That was the fastball. Barger is 1 for 1 today. Second pitch is outside with the curveball at 77, 1-1. Having a good year so far. Did score a run back in the first inning after a base hit. Here's the 1-1 pitch from Pallante. Swing and a miss on a slider at the bottom of the zone, 1-2. Cardinals playing Barger to pull. Here's the 1-2 pitch from Pallante. Missed up and away with the curveball, 2-2. Barger has some really nice contact numbers this year. 7 home runs on the year. Starting at third base today, here's the 2-2 pitch from Pallante. Fouled back, still 2-2. Two-two pitch once again to Barger. He is low with the curveball, 3-2. So Barger's worked the count full. A really nice at-bat from him. He has 12 doubles to all parts of the field so far this year. Pallante is ready. Pitch number 40 on the day. He is a swing and a miss, and it's a strikeout of Barger. So that's the first out of the third inning, and it's his first strikeout of the day. Just a fastball right at the bottom of the zone. Too close to take for Barger. And he swung just over it. So here comes Alejandro Kirk. Kirk hitting .306 this year. Here's the first pitch. Low and away for ball one. Another fastball. Kirk is 1 for 1 today. He extended that first inning rally. It was Barger, Kirk, and Springer all picking up hits to take a 1-0 lead, and then they extended it in the second. The 1-0 pitch is low. Another swing and a miss on a fastball, 1-1. Blue Jays lead this one 2-0. Cardinals yet to record a hit. The 1-1 pitch from Pallante. Up and in, check swing, foul ball, 1-2. So unfortunate there for Kirk that one's going to be a strike. So we will see if Pallante can finish the job here. The 1-2 pitch. Curveball just high, 2-2. One thing you miss in games with Herrera behind the plate is the Pajes framing. He's really good at putting pitches right where you want them, presenting them to the umpire. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Kirk. Curveball pulled foul. We'll do it again. The 2-2 once again to Alejandro Kirk. He is pulled foul again. Still 2-2. Really nice at-bat by Kirk. Nice job by the Blue Jays. Pallante only threw 2 1/3. This is going to be pitch number 47 of the game. Here's the 2-2. Fly ball foul, and we'll do it again. A lot of good at-bats so far. The Blue Jays already have 5 hits in the game. That also doesn't help. But nobody on and 1 out here in the third. Pitch 48 is pulled high in the air to left field, and that one is off the base of the wall. It's going to be extra bases. Another stand-up double with 1 out. And the Blue Jays are in business again. Alejandro Kirk on second base for George Springer. That was a curveball well below the zone, but Kirk, with his stature, was able to reach down and pull it down that line. For reference, let me grab Kirk's height and weight. Alejandro Kirk is 5'8", 245, so no trouble going down and getting pitches. That seems to be a little bit of an exaggeration in the high range there to say that he is 5'8", but maybe he is. Here's the 0-1 pitch from Pallante. In the dirt, 1-1. George Springer already has an RBI double in the game. This is his second time up. He has 10 home runs on the year, 1 WAR, 862 OPS with a 255 average. The 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss on a slider at the bottom of the zone, 1-2. Later today, it'll be Dodgers at Padres, so that'll be an interesting series. Cubs trail the Phillies 1-2 in Philadelphia. Here's the 1-2 pitch from Pallante to Springer. Ground ball up the middle. Donovan cuts off Wynn and makes the throw to first. Nice play by Donovan. And now there's 2 outs for Andres Jimenez. Wrong guy. Eloy. I haven't seen him in a while. Does he still play? Says he's a DH on the Rays. Obviously, this Jimenez plays a lot more at second base, so yeah. Eloy, he hasn't played since last season. I guess he's done. But Andres Jimenez isn't having a good year this year either. You expect a lot better. He has a 204 average with a 593 OPS, so despite Santander and Jimenez both struggling, the Blue Jays have still been pretty dang good this year. Here's the pitch. Missed downstairs. 1-0. As it turns out, there was catcher interference on the previous play, I believe, so runners at first and second now with 1 out. Here's the pitch from Pallante. Swing and a miss. 1-1. Yes, they overturned the call while I was checking the Eloy stats just to take a look. Here's the 1-1. Knuckle curve in the dirt. It's 2-1 on Andres. Here's the 2-1 pitch from Pallante with runners at first and second. Ground ball foul, 2-2. With 2 strikes, Pallante goes to the fastball 34% of the time and the slider 30% of the time. On deck is Davis Schneider, the left fielder. Both Jimenez and Schneider hitting about 200 this year. Here's the 2-2. Just inside with the fastball, 3-2. So 2 men on, 1 man out in the third. Andres Jimenez with a full count just called time. He has not been great this year with runners in scoring position, hitting just 132. With no home runs in these situations. The 3-2 pitch from Pallante. Fouled back, still 3-2. This has been a grind for Pallante. 15 pitches in the first, 18 pitches in the second, and he's at 24 here in the third. A lot of work early for Pallante. Let's see what he can do. The full count pitch to Jimenez. Swing and a miss on a fastball low and in, and down goes Andres. So 2 outs with 2 on now for Davis Schneider. That fastball just looks like it drops just a little bit at the end. A lot of hitters try to go low and in and make contact with it, but it goes just below the barrel, and that's what happened right there. So 2 outs, 2 men on. Here's the first pitch to Schneider. Low and away with the slider, 1-0. Schneider is 0 for 1 with a ground out back in the second. Does have a 714 OPS with 1 home run. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Ground ball up the middle. Mason Wynn is going to step on the second base bag, and we'll go to the bottom of the third. 2-0, Toronto. Good job by Pallante to work out of that one. It'll be Burleson, Gorman, and Scott. So there's some Eloy Jimenez stats. And we'll go to Gorman, because we don't see Gorman too often. -3 batting run value, 649 OPS. Does walk a lot this year with a 12% walk rate. It's really nice for him, but he does still have that 29.1% strikeout rate. League average as a fielder. And none of the contact stats are quite as nice as they were back in 2023, so hopefully he can pull those back. Every chance we get, let's check Victor Scott's fielding stats. 100th percentile in sprint speed. He actually has 30.1 feet per second now, so that's even faster than they had him recorded at before. 2 home runs to right field. There was one other thing I wanted to check. Oh yeah, so Santander. Let's just go to the depth chart. Let's switch from the Dodgers to the Blue Jays here. So Santander is not listed, so he's going to be on the IL. 10-day IL, so he'll be back soon. Retro May 30th, so he's going to be back really, really soon, probably next series. And Varsho is also on the IL, so that makes sense. I'm going to leave the bullpen here so that I can reference it later. Get ready for the game to return. There we go. Alrighty. So Alec Burleson batting in the bottom of the third now. Looking for the first hit of the day for the Cardinals. Berrios has been pretty efficient. 19 pitches, it says, through 2 innings. First pitch to Burleson. He's a little bit low with the fastball, 1-0. Burleson hitting .296 this year with a .767 OPS and 5 home runs. It's a really good year. At least a little bit above league average. Here's the 1-0. Outside, but caught the outside part of the plate, 1-1. One pitch to Burleson. Up and in, he check swing foul ball. So 1-2. Definitely not where he wanted to swing there. But it was in on the hands. Had to try to do something with it. Maybe thought that was a changeup. The 1-2 pitch to Burleson. Goes low and away, fouls it off. Still 1-2. Burleson's had a pretty full season so far. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss on a fastball outside, and down goes Burleson. Berrios has been really, really effective so far. It's going to be his first strikeout of the day. Here comes Gorman with 1 out and nobody on. First pitch. Outside with the changeup, 1-0. Gorman's been pretty good this year. .210 average, 649 OPS. It's not his best year, but maybe a little bit better than last year. Here's the 1-0. Puts the slurve ball right down the middle, 1-1. Has a couple of home runs, 0.1 WAR. The 1-1 pitch. Missed outside with a changeup again, 2-1. Gorman's problems have always come on off-speed pitches and strikeouts, so hopefully he can make good contact here. The 2-1, up and in, pulled, but just foul. 2-2. See if Gorman can extend this at bat or make some quality contact to make Berrios work. Berrios is ready. 2-2 pitch. Outside with the changeup, 3-2. So a good job by Gorman. Seeing pitches pretty well, full count. And that will bring up Victor Scott, who is on deck right now. 3-2 pitch to Gorman. Fouled back on a fastball right down the middle. And we'll do it again. So Scott waiting on deck. He has about the same OPS as Gorman so far this year, but they do it in such different ways. The 3-2 pitch. Hold, and that's going to be a base hit to right field. So Gorman with a long at-bat and a base hit. Great piece of hitting by Gorman. It was an outside pitch. He stuck the barrel out and pulled it over the head of the second baseman, Jimenez, for a hit. So Gorman on first, and that's going to bring up Victor Scott the second with a man on and one out in the third. Victor Scott has done a lot of trying to bunt recently, and it has not worked out super well, so I hope he's just swinging here. First pitch from Berrios. Outside 1-0. One-0 pitch now to Victor Scott. Up and away with the fastball, 2-0. So Berrios struggling a little bit to consistently find the zone. Catcher trying to settle him down. Blue Jays playing their third baseman pretty close on that infield grass, just in case a bunt attempt is tried by Scott. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Down the middle, fouled back on the sinker, 2-1. Good job by Scott there, making some contact. It clouds up the pitcher's view of exactly where that pitch was going to land, and hopefully he can draw a long at-bat here. Man on first with one out, the 2-1 pitch to Scott. Outside, he drives it into left field, easy play, and the catch is made by Schneider. So 2 down now with Gorman on first for Nootbaar. Nootbaar going through a little bit of a rough stretch. 732 OPS so far this year. The expected batting average is falling a little bit. It's below league average for the first time this year. Looking to make some quality contact with a man on and 2 outs here in the third. First pitch from Berrios. Inside, but he gets the call on a slurve. That was about an inch off the plate. Either way, 0-1 on Nootbaar. Two outs. Gorman on first. The pitch is popped up. Playable at third. And the catch is made by Barger. So we'll go to the fourth. Still 2-0. Toronto. The Cardinals at least broke that no-hitter bid up in the third before it became a discussion. But not great on the offensive side so far. If we look at... Nootbaar's just struggling a lot. Yeah. Guess I don't have that much to add. Let's just take a look at Ernie Clement so far this year. Forgot what I was going to say is what happened, but Clement, he hasn't been too good. He was pretty good in 2023 with 3 batting run value, 885 OPS, and 50 at-bats, but as the sample size grew, 690 is about where he's sitting. A little bit higher than that. -2 and -2 over the last couple seasons. Does square up the ball, doesn't strike out a lot, but just can't barrel it up very often or put a lot of velocity on it. So that's where he's been sitting. Let's see, 2022, not qualified, not a very good hitter. So yeah, just one really nice season in 2023. with a small sample, and then now he's not striking out, which helps out a lot. Oh yeah, I remember what I was going to say. Berrios has thrown a lot of pitches, at least in that third inning, so that worked his pitch count up. Puts him at 37 through 3, which is still really efficient, but not quite as great as the first couple innings. It's going to be Clement, Jonathan Clase, and Bichette. I am wondering how Bichette is doing this year. Bichette, 746 OPS, a little bit better than average. Good expected batting average. Good peripheral stats across the board as far as contact goes. Doesn't walk too much and hasn't played great defense. That's why he's DHing today. But still very solid. And Clement is at the plate, so let's get back. It's 0-1 on Clement. The pitch is low with the slider, 1-1. Here's another pitch to Ernie Clement. The 1-1. Low and in, ground ball. Mason Wynn makes the play, 1 out in the 4th. Cardinals sent McGreevy and Swanson down to Memphis and called up Riley O'Brien and Chris Roycroft. So they just want to have those arms available for this series. And I bet these guys are going to be being traded up and down all year to try to have fresh arms. Here's the first pitch to Clase. Up and in, ground ball to second. Donovan is there. Makes the play, 2 outs in this 4th inning. So that's going to bring up Bo Bichette. Bichette is 1 for 2 today. Did have an RBI. He was able to drive in Clement after the double back in that 2nd inning. Here's the first pitch. Curveball missed low. It's 1-0. Pallante is going to be throwing his 66th pitch of the game here in the 4th. Looking to maybe go 6 innings this game. Here's the pitch. Ground ball. Mason Wynn. And we go to the bottom of the 4th. So 3 ground balls that inning. Great 1-2-3 inning for Pallante. He bounced back that inning. It'll be Wynn, Donovan, and Contreras for the Cardinals in the bottom half. So putting more pressure right on Berrios. That's a great 1-2-3 inning. Let's grab Mason Wynn's numbers. 763 OPS. 6 in the batting run value. Really nice expected batting average. Good launch angle. Putting on a clinic. 8 outs above average as well. Great year for Mason Wynn. Donovan's also making great contact. I'm curious what's going on with Nootbaar, so I might pull that up. 831 OPS for Donovan. This looks like it pretty much has all year, although he was a little bit higher recently. How's Nootbaar looking? Expected batting average is below league average. Everything else still is above average, so can we really complain? I really don't know, but I guess the arm is costing us in the field a little bit, but not too bad. And then, let's see, Contreras. He'll be due up 3rd. He's league average, 728 OPS, but these contact numbers will continue to pull him up as long as he can walk a decent amount. He's playing a good defensive first base as well. It'll take just 1 second. All right. So Mason Wynn takes the first pitch outside. It's 1-0. Second pitch from Berrios to Wynn. He is low and away with the sinker, 2-0. Wynn is 0 for 1 today, hitting .274 this year with 6 home runs. He's been much better since being moved into that second spot in the order. Putting up great numbers. Here's the 2-0 from Berrios. Low and in, he pops it up. That's going to be playable in center. And the catch is made. So Clase makes an easy play out there. And Wynn chases a pitch that he's ill-advised to go get there with a low and in fastball. Wasn't able to turn on it. I think it's probably not worth a swing with a 2-0 count advantage. And if you're going to pick fastball, you have to be able to get around on it when you have that big of an advantage. It's pretty much the same as a 3-1 in my mind. Here's the pitch to Donovan. Outside, 1-0. The 1-0 pitch from Berrios. At the top of the zone, fastball popped up and caught over in left field. Nice play by Schneider up against the net. 2 outs, nobody on for Wilson Contreras. Contreras, one of a couple of base runners this game for the Cardinals. Had a walk his last time up. So with 2 outs, nobody on, you almost just think about swinging for the fences here. Try to steal a run with 2 outs. First pitch from Berrios to Contreras is a strike on the inside part of the plate. 0-1. That was a close pitch, but it was called a strike, so whoever manages the scoreboard is incorrect. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Contreras. Low and away with the slurve. 1-1. Contreras looking to get those numbers back to above average. His contact numbers are still fantastic. The 1-1 pitch from Berrios. Inside. 2-1. The count on your screen is still incorrect. There we go, 2-1. The pitch from Berrios is in there for a strike. Sinker right down the middle, 2-2. So Contreras saw a couple now. Berrios had to find the zone, and he did. Hasn't worked too hard this inning. Let's see if Contreras can make him. The 2-2 pitch to Contreras. He is downstairs with a changeup, 3-2. Ivan Herrera is on deck. He has 6 home runs this year in a limited sample. Be nice to get him a base runner here. Or to take a nice swing at one of these pitches. The 3-2 pitch from Berrios to Contreras. Up and in. Ball 4. Tough pitch that could have been called a strike. But Contreras reaches on his second walk of the game, and that's going to bring up Ivan Herrera. Cubs have tied their game with the Phillies in Philadelphia. Phillies playing some dramatically bad baseball recently. 1-10 in their last 11. First pitch to Herrera is a strike. A perfect fastball low and away. 0-1. The Braves are also tied with Milwaukee. 1-1 in Milwaukee. The 0-1 pitch to Herrera. Way outside with the slurve, 1-1. So Berrios has finally reached 50 pitches in the game. At this rate, he's going to go all 9. But hopefully the Cardinals can work him down get him out of the game eventually. The 1-1 pitch to Herrera is outside, 2-1. Two outs. One man on. That is Contreras. 2-1 count to Ivan Herrera. The pitch from Berrios. Up and in. That's going to be a ball. 3-1. So this could be an opportunity for the Redbirds. You got to choose your pitch wisely here as Herrera. Choose a pitch to drive. Hopefully find it. 3-1 count. Here's the pitch from Berrios. Fastball up and in, driven over the head of the second baseman Jimenez for a base hit. Springer bobbles it. It's going to be a 1st to 3rd run by Contreras, who is safe. And the Cardinals have runners at the corners with 2 outs in the 4th. So the Cardinals were going to hold Contreras at second. Springer bobbled the ball, and that allowed Contreras to advance an extra base on a nice piece of hitting from Herrera. Another big hit from Herrera. Hopefully it can turn into a run. Big chance for Arenado here. Arenado not living up to his normal expectations. A 680 OPS. Well below the expectation for him. He is just above Gorman and Scott at the bottom of the list on that stat so far this year. At least in the lineup today. The Blue Jays playing him to pull. But there is a little bit of a gap up the middle. So if he can just rocket one back, he could drive in a run. Here's the first pitch to Arenado. Perfect sinker, low and away for a strike, 0-1. A lot of fans getting excited here. Filling up the ballpark and Big Mac land. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Arenado. Outside with the slurve, 1-1. It's nice to see so many fans in the ballpark once again. Cardinals playing a good brand of baseball and people want to go out and see it. See if Arenado can deliver for him here. The 1-1 from Berrios. Low and in, smoked, but right at the shortstop. And the play is made by Clement. So we'll go to the 5th, still 2-0. Toronto. It'll be Guerrero, Barger, and Kirk. So finally, let's get to look at the Guerrero page. This is one of the better players in baseball, the first baseman. 89th percentile with 11 batting run value. Expected batting average in the 99th percentile. Good average exit velo. Barrels it up. Good sweet spot rate. Pretty much good across the board. Doesn't strike out. Does walk. 1 out above average in the field as well. Just a really good all-around player. Last year he was even better, a 940 OPS over the course of the year. 53 batting run value, 98th percentile there. Best expected batting average in baseball. And that is how you earn some money right there. I believe he was also an MVP candidate. Yeah, he was the best batter in baseball in 2021. But Ohtani was always going to win that MVP, which is unfortunate for Vladdy Jr. because he had everything going for him. 98th percentile in expected slug, 99th across the board elsewhere. And the best batting value in baseball. Looking to carry that over this year. He's only 26. He's just an elite player in baseball, and he will continue that for years to come. Who have I not looked at? Probably Schneider. Just take a look at Schneider here. Davis Schneider, the left fielder. 690 OPS, about average. He actually was really good in 2023. 13 batting run value. Great walk rate. Had 8 home runs in 116 at-bats. That's really, really nice. A 1 OPS, but small sample. And over a full season looked like this, so can't expect perfection from everybody. The game is back. Let's get back to it. First pitch to Vladdy Jr. is inside, 1-0. Second pitch from Pallante is down the middle, ground ball. Easy play at first for Contreras. He'll make the play. 1 out. Nobody on in the 5th. For Addison Barger. I kind of think of Addison as a girl's name, but sometimes Southern people do that. I don't know where he's from. I'll have to take a look. One out, nobody on. Here's the pitch from Pallante. In there for a strike with a curveball, 0-1. So let's see, Barger. He is from Leon King High School, so that doesn't tell me much. I'll have to check where he's born later on. Swinging a miss on an inside fastball there. It's 0-2. So he was born in Washington. So there you go. Bellevue, Washington. Probably just Bellevue. All right, here's the 0-2 pitch. In the dirt with a slider, 1-2. So I believe Cooper Kupp is from somewhere out there. Definitely an area where you could see someone being named Addison. Either way, here's the 1-2 from Pallante. Up and in, 2-2. Cooper Kupp did go to the Seahawks. That's interesting. 2-2 pitch from Pallante to Barger. Swing and a miss on a slider below the zone. 2 outs, nobody on. That'll bring up Alejandro Kirk. The Braves did take a 3-1 lead over Milwaukee, so that's something you love to see. Not trying to watch too many outside scoreboards, but those types of games are always fun to check out. Let's see if Pallante can make another quick inning. Here's the pitch to Kirk. Swing and a miss on a sinker inside at 96, 0-1. Kirk really swinging for the fences there. He's 2 for 2 today. Second pitch of the at-bat is outside with the slider, 1-1. All right, let me see. Does it look like Kirk is 5'8"? Absolutely not. He is not 5'8". Looks to be 5'6", as the fastball misses outside, 2-1. Two-one pitch from Pallante to Kirk. Ground ball up the middle, easy play for win. And he makes it. So we're going to go to the bottom of the 5th. Still 2-0 Blue Jays. They got 2 runs in the first and the second inning. Since then, it's been scoreless. It'll be Burleson, Gorman, and Scott. Okay, let's work our way back over to Burleson. He's been hitting pretty well this year. 296 average, above average in the batting value. Good expected stats and peripherals. A pretty low strikeout rate. Could walk a little bit more, but you don't need him to. He's been good, 767 OPS. Can't complain about Burleson. Even the fielding has been average, which is as good as you can ask for when you play a guy like Burleson in the outfield, especially competing against guys like Victor Scott. His sprint speed at 24.9 just isn't going to let him get to some of these baseballs out there. He's worked on it. He's become better. He's been really good at first base, so Can't complain at all about Burleson. He's really putting in the effort. If you look at Gorman and Scott, I mean, we looked at Gorman earlier, but still want to, just because of what he was in 2023. Strikeout rate, where was it? 31.9. Did he bring it down? 29.1. He did, right? But not much. And last year, it was up at 37.6. This is much better than that, for sure. Just hope he can continue to see the ball, because if he can get those strikeouts out of his game, keep making contact, it's going to be hits. It doesn't really have to be as monster of contact as it was way back in the day, like a couple of years ago. Just needs to make contact. So that's the thing about Gorman. And the game is back. It's going to be Michaelis against Bassett and Liberatore against an unnamed starter in the next 2 games. Bassett's a pretty good pitcher as well, so it's going to be tough. That's why the Cardinals should try to fight back in this one right now. They're down by 2 runs. Both teams have an error in the game. I don't really remember what the error was for the Blue Jays, but there was one. So here comes Burleson. He's 0 for 1 with a strikeout today. Here's the first pitch. Just inside with the sinker, but he gets the strike call. 0-1. The 0-1 pitch to Alec Burleson. He is outside with the fastball, 1-1. The 1-1 pitch. Popped up at the top of the zone. That was a cutter. Easily playable at second for Jimenez. And he makes the grab. 1 out in the 5th. That'll bring up Nolan Gorman. Berrios has been really effective so far today. About to throw his 60th pitch of the game. Through 4 1/3. So at that rate, what is that? He's going to get through 7, maybe 8 innings. Hopefully the Cardinals can slow him down. Here's the first pitch to Gorman. Up and in. Doesn't get the call on a sinker that also missed the zone. 1-0. Gorman is 1 for 1 today with some nice hitting earlier with his single. That was back in the 3rd inning. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Ground ball, right-hand side. Good play by Jimenez, and another out. So 2 balls hit to Jimenez, 2 outs in the 5th. That'll bring up Victor Scott with nobody on in the 5th. Scott is 0 for 1 today. He batted with Gorman on base his last time up. Pitch from Berrios to Scott. Up and in, ground ball. That'll be foul. 0-1. Scott had a fly out his last time up. He has 2 home runs on the year. They're playing him to pull, but there is a gap in the center of the infield. 0-1 pitch grounded to Jimenez. Jimenez makes 3 plays in the inning, and Scott just got thrown out by a step in the 5th. So that'll take us to the 6th. It'll be George Springer, Andres Jimenez, and Dave Schneider. Did I look at Springer yet? I mean, we have time. I'll just leave Springer up. He's been great. 93rd percent. Oh, yeah. We have looked at him, but 93rd percentile, 15 batting run value. Good numbers. Great walk rate. Doesn't surprise me at all. On the Astros, what happened between 2016 and 17? Nah, he was good in 2016. He was good in 2017. So I don't know if he was helped too much by the controversy. I'll be back in just a moment. Game is back on. There's an update of Jordan Walker that I do not see. Jim Hayes is reporting, so you're going to have to check Twitter, because I am not hearing him. First pitch from Pallante to Springer in the 6th. Check swing. Yes, he did. Okay. 0-1. I didn't think Springer swung there, and I also didn't think that was a strike, but got the call. Springer is 1 for 1 today. Must have had a hit by pitch as well. Oh, he reached on the... Actually, I don't even know how this works. Yeah, he must have been the one to reach on the catcher interference or something. Either way, he fouled one off there. It's 0-2. This is going to be pitch number 80 from Pallante. The 0-2 is outside, 1-2. All right, we are live now. The 1-2 pitch to Springer is fouled off again. Yeah, he did reach on interference. Springer has 10 home runs on the year. He has been the best hitter in the lineup today for the Blue Jays. The 1-2 pitch, low and in, ground ball. Arenado is there and makes the play. 1 out. And that's going to bring up Andres Jimenez. Every time I see that last name, it's not even spelled the same. I just used to watch a lot of those White Sox games with Eloy and Tim Anderson. Either way, here we go. Pallante to Andres Jimenez. Swing and a miss on a curveball below the zone. 0-1. And they look nothing alike, by the way, but it's just reading. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Jimenez. Ground ball. Brendan Donovan is there, makes the play. 2 outs in the 6th. So a lot of ground balls from Pallante. He's really settled in well after that second inning. And they are going into his numbers here. Or they're just going to talk about him, which I can't hear. So either way, that's what I was saying as well. A lot of ground balls. Good job settling into the game after a rough couple of innings. He's really given the team a chance to win here. Pitch 85 is a ball below the zone. Dave Schneider at the plate. Pallante has 13 groundouts today, just 4 other outs. 3 of those are strikeouts, so just 1 ball in the air all game. The 1-0 pitch. Outside, 2-0. Although those are just his out distribution, so I believe he had a couple hits that did get into the air. 6 hits for the Blue Jays. Here's the 2-0 to Schneider. Ground ball foul, 2-1. Pallante has thrown the same number of pitches in the 4th, 5th, and 6th innings as he did in the 3rd, only in just the 3rd inning, as he misses low and away with the fastball, 3-1. So now that stat is no longer true, but that is okay. The 3-1 pitch from Pallante to Schneider is outside, ball 4. So Schneider reaches for the first time today. He's on with 2 outs for Ernie Clement. Clement is 1 for 2 today. Did score a run after hitting a double. That was back in the 2nd inning. Here's the pitch. Driven to right field, playable for Burleson. He'll make the grab in front of the track, and we go to the bottom of the 6th. Still 2-0. Great job settling in by Pallante. He's at 90 pitches. Tough decision for Marmol coming up in the 7th. Either way, here we go. It'll be Nootbaar, Wynn, and Donovan against Berrios in the 6th. Newt due up first, 734 OPS. Pretty good outs above average. Well, I mean, 1, which is better than being average or below average. 20% strikeout rate. He had a really low one earlier into the year, but the walk rate has come down below 90th percentile. That's a bad sign because it was way up at 99th for a long while. Still a good year from Nootbaar. Can't complain, but hopefully he locks back in. Maybe he could start right now. The Phillies do have a base runner in the bottom of the 9th. In a tie game against the Cubs, it's 2-2. The fact that those teams are playing each other is good for the Cardinals, because one of those teams will cede some ground if the Cardinals can get some wins in this series. All right, here we go. Berrios has been excellent today. 4 base runners allowed in 5 innings. That's a 0.8 whip. No earned runs as well. Here's the first pitch of the 6th to Lars Nootbaar. Missed just outside, 1-0. Nootbaar looking to reach base for the first time today. He's 0 for 2, but has not struck out in this one. The 1-0 pitch. Top of the zone, he pops it up once again. This one over on the left side, caught by Barger. So another pop out for Nootbaar. He's been getting under everything. Rough game for him, but here comes Mason Wynn. First pitch from Berrios to Wynn. He is way low and outside with the fastball, 1-0. The 1-0 pitch. Inside with the slurve, 2-0. Wynn is 0 for 2 today. Also hasn't struck out. Having a pretty good season. Great in the field as well. The 2-0 pitch. Up and in, another pop up. That one into the seats. It's 2-1. pitch to Win. He's inside, popped up, another pop-up. That one floating out to center field. A good running grab made by Clase. 2 outs, and that's going to bring up Brendan Donovan. Berrios really attacking the top of the zone, just getting a lot of pop-ups. I wonder what the Cardinals are seeing here. It's forcing all of these pop-ups. Must just be some unusual movement. Some good spin rate from Berrios. Here's the pitch to Donovan. In there for a strike with the sinker. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Brendan Donovan. Just outside with the slurve, 1-1. Donovan hitting .314 this year. He's 0 for 2 today, though. Ground out and a foul out. The 1-1 pitch from Berrios. Inside, popped up again. That one's going to get into the seats, though. 1-2. I think that's what has surprised me the most over the course of this game, is that every single hitter appears to be popping the ball up against Berrios, and you usually never see a guy like Donovan or a guy like Wynn pop the ball up to this degree. As Donovan and Wynn and Nootbaar, I believe, all have infield pop-outs or foul-outs. Here's the 1-2. Fouled back into the screen, still 1-2. See if he can square one up here. The 1-2 from Berrios. Out over the plate with the sinker, fouled back, still 1-2. Berrios missed his location with that one. Donovan does have a home run with 2 strikes this year. 14 RBIs in these spots. .221 average, which is 50 points above league average. Here's the 1-2 from Berrios. In the dirt, 2-2. Donovan's strikeout rate in 2 strike counts is 27.8%. Very, very low compared to league average. We'll see here if he can find that hole in the right middle of the infield. 2-2 pitch from Berrios. Goes down and smacks one to right field. That's going to be a base hit. First hit out of any of the first 3 hitters for the Cardinals today. And finally, a base runner for Contreras. Contreras has been great today. He's still 0 for 0 with 2 walks. That one was just a changeup below the zone. Donovan reached down and put the barrel on it and pulled it to right field. If he had gotten that just a little bit further to the right, it could have been extra bases, but he's still on base here. With 2 down in the 6th, the chance for Wilson Contreras. Here's the pitch from Berrios. Swing and a miss on a slurve ball outside, 0-1. The slurve is kind of a mixture between the slider and the curveball. Obviously, you can see where the name came from. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Contreras. Sinker caught the outside part of the plate. It's 0-2. Great movement there from Berrios, playing off of the slurve. That movement going the other way with the sinker. Has an 0-2 count advantage on Contreras. Let's see what he can do with it. The 0-2 pitch. Fastball above the zone. Taken by Contreras, 1-2. Contreras lost his bats while trying to avoid that one. Only because he check swinged. I guess check swung. That's not something you say very often. Either way, here's the 1-2 pitch from Berrios to Contreras. He goes down and pokes a slurve to center field, and it will be caught by Clase. So another good inning for Berrios. He's at 80 pitches. And we go to the 7th, still 2-0, Toronto. It'll be Clase, Bichette, Guerrero. I don't know if we've seen Jonathan Clase, but is there that much to know? Let's see. He's 23, 631 OPS. It was 523 last year. Really, really fast. 30 feet per second sprint speed last year. This year they have him at 29.3. Still up there above 95th percentile. 5'10", 150. So unlikely to be a big home run guy. But he's really, really fast, so watch out for that. Obviously helps him out with center field. Oh yeah, I guess we should look at the Cardinal bullpen. Should have Roycroft in it if this is updated. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So Clase, Bichette, Guerrero. Do we know where Clase hits? Because Bichette and Guerrero are both righties, so I guess it doesn't even matter. Probably go to Roycroft. You brought him up to pitch, right? So I'd probably go Roycroft. If they're not going to stick with Pallante here. I mean, Roycroft obviously hasn't been very good this year. Pretty low on all of the numbers, but this would be a good one to mix him back in with the big league bullpen. Get some pitching in while he's up here. Save the arms for the other games. It isn't like a blowout at this stage, but 3 innings left to score a couple of runs. So you don't want to go to the top end of your bullpen. Let's see, is it going to be Pallante or Roycroft or someone else? Looks like it'll still be Pallante. And it will. So first pitch, bunted. Arenado bare hands it, makes the throw. Didn't get him, so Clase's speed comes in handy there. A bunt base hit in the 7th. And the Blue Jays have a base runner with nobody out. Arenado just unable to throw the ball around him there. It was a good bare hand play, but tried to throw it around the runner and ended up slowing himself down too much, and that was it for Pallante. So that's interesting. That will bring in Riley O'Brien. So they went with the other one. They called up a couple of guys, so that makes sense. He has a 1.38 whip, a 6.23 ERA. But forces really soft contact, a high ground ball rate. So that's going to be the numbers that Marmol was going to be using there. Because he has some better peripheral numbers like that. That's why he's going to get the nod over Roycroft. He's also 30 years old. He's pitched at the big league level a few different times. Has a high ground ball rate in all of these different appearances. Actually, 100% ground ball rate in 2022. Okay, so he was not great in 2024, but high ground ball rate so far this year. 1.38 whip is not good, but hopefully you can just put it in the zone. That's probably where the problems are coming. 10.5% walk rate is not good. Yeah, I mean, you're behind, so you throw a right-hander who doesn't pitch too often. Save the bulk of your bullpen for the other games in the series. It's not an illogical move here from Marmol. I think it could work out for us. But there's a man on with nobody out, so we'll have to see. O'Brien's thrown 4 1/3 innings this year, so not a lot of work. We'll see if he can get through at least 1 inning in this one. A young man and his girlfriend have an entire section to themselves in the outfield. It's always fun to see. A lot of people Not buying those top seats in the stadium. Okay, not the entire section. A couple other people there. That's pretty funny. All right, here's the 0-1 pitch from O'Brien to Bichette. Oh, instead he's going to check on Clase as Contreras screws around with him. Alrighty. So Bichette digging back in. He's the leadoff hitter. He's 1 for 3 today. 1 man on, nobody out. The 0-1 pitch from O'Brien. Top of the zone, pulled to first base. It's going to be a double play as Contreras caught that one in the air, and that stranded the runner. Nothing Clase could do about that. 2 outs, nobody on, and that'll bring up Vladimir Guerrero Jr. It was a really hard hit ball, but Contreras had him played perfectly. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is 0 for 3 today and takes strike 1 on the inside part of the plate, 0-1. That was a nice slider. Has 2 groundouts and a flyout, so he's the only flyout for the Blue Jays today. The 0-1 pitch. Whoa, it's up and in. Sinker almost caught Guerrero. Had to get on the ground there. It's 1-1. When you're dealing with flamethrowers, you got to stop, drop, and roll. That's what they like to say. Especially when there's no command over those flamethrowers. So O'Brien is ready once again. The 1-1 pitch to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Missed upstairs with the slider, 2-1. Vladdy Jr. has 8 home runs on the year. It's a little bit low for him. Here's the 2-1. Ground ball high in the air to third baseman Arenado. He barehands it, but misses the throw, and it's going to be another infield hit for the Blue Jays. So a couple really tough plays for Arenado. Unable to make either one. That's a little uncharacteristic, but not many third basemen can really make this play. So tried to barehand it out of the air off the hop and gun it to first, but he had to jump to catch the ball. That's where the uncharacteristic part comes in. Usually Arenado just guns that right into the chest of the first baseman, allowing Contreras to stretch and get the out. So a man on first with 2 outs. Here's the first pitch to Addison Barger. Downstairs with the slider, 1-0. Barger did single back in the first inning. Came around to score after hits by Kirk and a double by Springer. The 1-0 pitch. In there for a strike with the slider, 1-1. Two outs, Vladdy on first. The 1-1 pitch to Barger. Ground ball up the middle. Play made by Wynn. So we go to the bottom of the 7th. Still 2-0. That's rough. Alrighty. It'll be Herrera, Arenado, and Burleson. I mean, I don't think I've pulled up Herrera's numbers yet. Kind of on the downturn right now. Still pretty good. I mean, 10 batting run value. A block above average. Pretty good peripherals. I mean, the average exit velo is going down. It's at 90.4. How was he last year? I mean, 89.3, so there's going to be some regression to the mean, but if he can be this or a little bit better than this, that's still plenty good enough to hit in the lineup every day. And you love having him between Contreras and Arenado. So, speaking of Arenado, pretty rough day for him so far. 680 OPS on the year. Doesn't strike out, which is great. But the outs above average at just 3. It's going to go down even more, potentially, today. So he just might not quite be what he used to be, but obviously, we expect him to pick it back up. Especially on defense. I mean, it's Arenado. Hopefully he can get some home runs going. He has 7 so far this year. Last year he had 16, so about the same pace. He had a batting run produced last year. 10 outs above average over the course of the year, so he might be on pace for that. He could be a little bit better. But he did have 26 home runs in 2023, so it'd be great to see those numbers come back. Here comes Herrera. Leading off the 7th. Berrios at 80 pitches. Cardinals hoping this is his last inning. Got to make him work for it. Here's the first pitch. Downstairs, 1-0. Second pitch to Ivan Herrera. Swing and a miss on a slurve low and away. It's 1-1. Herrera did hit a single back in the 4th inning. Might be the most recent hit of the game for the Cardinals. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Low and in, ground ball. Tough play, but a good play by Barger at third. Makes a clean throw, 1 out. So just 3 pitches there for Berrios, and that's going to bring up Arenado with nobody on. He just looks absolutely incredible. I think the strategy for the Cardinals here is just make sure he reaches at least 92 pitches so that he's out of the game, so that you can get to the bullpen at the end of the game and rally back into it. Here's the pitch to Arenado. Slurve outside, 1-0. Pitches outside the zone will help you out with that mission. The 1-0 pitch to Arenado. Fastball low and in, driven to right field. Tough read, but a good play made by Springer. 2 outs. So just 5 pitches for 2 outs there for Berrios, and that'll bring up Alec Burleson. Another thing you really hope as the Cardinals here is that you can get Burleson on base here, simply to bring Gorman up with a chance to hit a homer or go down, and then you get the Scott, Nootbaar, Wynn, Donovan, and then you have Contreras, Herrera, and Arenado and Burleson. You want to have those guys hitting in the final inning against a different pitcher. So, long at bat here, try to reach base, get Berrios out of the game for next inning, and give Gorman a swing at it in this inning. Big at bat for Burleson. Here's the first pitch. Sorry, that was the second pitch. It's 1-1. That was a slider right down the middle. Burleson is 0 for 2 with a strikeout today. Here's the 1-1. Swing and a miss on a changeup low and away. It's 1-2. Burleson also popped out, so he joins the club with Nootbaar, Wynn, and Donovan. Hopefully he can reach kind of like Donovan did his last time up. I guess Donovan's the most recent hit for the Cardinals. The 1-2 pitch. Smoked to right field. That's going to be a base hit, and it's going to get close to the corner. Burleson's going to try to turn it into extra bases, and he will. So a huge double for Alec Burleson. And the Cardinals are in business with 2 outs in the 7th. That will take Berrios to his 90th pitch of the game. and give Gorman a chance to drive in a run here. It's exactly what the Cardinals needed there, whether or not Gorman's able to drive him in. And that is it for Berrios. So he is out of the game. Prior to 90 pitches, I guess that's a safe managerial strategy there. Gorman, obviously a home run bat. Didn't want to let him see Berrios again. So let's see. I didn't get a look at who they're bringing in, so let's hit their bullpen real fast. It's going to be pretty late in the game. Little. I mean, it's got to be Little. Because it's going to be a lefty-lefty. 1.14 whip, 1.55 ERA. He's been great. 5 pitching run value, good expected batting average against. Can get hit kind of hard, but gets that strikeout. I mean, 34.5% strikeout rate. Best whiff rate in baseball. And you get lefty-lefty against a guy who strikes out a ton in Gorman with a 60.3% ground ball rate. I mean, that's a match made in heaven. If they do go to Little, though, Cardinals could also answer with a pinch hitter, although I don't know if they have a great righty available. Current righty available off the bench is Pozo. So that's not ideal. Oh, wait, hold on. Someone's getting the day off. Oh, it's Pedro Pajes. So, I mean, Pajes or Pozo here. Probably not going to be coming in off the bench. It will be Little, so Blue Jays are smart for that. He's been really, really good. Berrios was really, really good today. If you saw what he did over this game, it's 6 2/3 with 0 earned runs, 0 runs allowed, and less than a base runner per inning. He will be responsible for the runner on second. So we'll see if Gorman or the pinch hitter can drive him in, depending what Marmol wants. He's going to go with Pallante, who takes a strike on the outside part of the plate, 0-1. So they would rather have Pallante than Gorman here, which makes sense. It's a really tough matchup for Gorman, but it's tough for anybody, as Pallante takes the 0-1 and swings at a knuckle curve in the dirt, 0-2. Probably not a pitch I would have swung at there. But obviously, you know, big league stuff. Must have had some wicked movement. Sometimes if it's in the dirt like that, it starts out tunneled off of a pitch that you were looking for. Here's the 0-2. Another swing and a miss. Vellatti's going to try to run it out. They will put him out at first, and we'll go to the 8th. Still 2-0. Blue Jays in St. Louis. Just 4 hits for the Cardinals today. And that also closes the book on the Berrios start. But that's what the Cardinals needed, because now you get Scott, Nootbaar, Wynn, and Donovan, and then you get the Contreras, Herrera, Arenado, Burleson. So home run potential against the bullpen going forward. Although Little gets to face Scott, Nootbaar, so that's going to be good for the Blue Jays from a lefty-lefty perspective. But this was the right choice for both teams. It'll be Kirk, Springer, and Jimenez. That is righty, and lefty. We're going to go back. Let's see. O'Brien's listed as the long reliever, so he's probably going to come back out. Been about average this year, I guess. Yeah, I don't see any reason why you wouldn't just stick with O'Brien. Let him face Kirk and Springer. And then you can do whatever you want against Jimenez. Andres Jimenez is a left-handed hitter all the time, so maybe you do go to a lefty. The Cubs were able to take a 3-2 lead in Philadelphia. Let's see what Riley O'Brien can do against Kirk. The first pitch misses inside with the sinker. 1-0. Uh-oh, what's going on here? There we go. 1-0 pitch from O'Brien to Kirk. Sinker right at the bottom of the zone, fouled off, 1-1. Kirk's made a career out of hitting the ball at that catcher position. Also been pretty good on the other side. The 1-1. Swing and a miss on a sinker at the top of the zone, 1-2. O'Brien had a pretty efficient inning his last inning. The 1-2 pitch to Kirk. Check swing. Did he go? No, he didn't. 2-2. Kirk is 2 for 3. That is a .340 average on the year with 2 strikes, with 2 home runs in these situations. Very rare that he strikes out. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Low and away with the curveball, 3-2. Kirk's strikeout rate with 2 strikes is just 19.8%. His batting average actually goes up with 2 strikes, which is really, really weird. Here's the 3-2 pitch from O'Brien. Hit in the air to center field, deep, and at the wall, and Scott actually knocks it over the wall for a home run. So Victor Scott lets that one go. Rough defensive play for the Redbirds. It's going to be 3-0. Toronto. That one went 404 feet, 103 miles an hour off the bat, but I do believe it's not a home run unless he knocks this one further into the air. Yeah, it was going to hit the top of the wall. It was playable for Scott, and he accidentally let it fly off of his glove. So a free run handed to the Blue Jays. An unorthodox play by Scott. A very, very uncharacteristic mistake. And there's a ground out by Springer. So there's 1 out in the 8th. That'll bring up Andres Jimenez. Tough one for O'Brien to take there, I guess. Here's the pitch to Jimenez. Outside with a sinker, 1-0. Like if you're going in negotiations and they say you gave up like this many home runs, I don't know. I might have the video ready. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Jimenez. Fouled back, 1-1. Scott is due up next inning, so hopefully you can just turn that into some motivation. As Jimenez hits a base hit to left, so Nootbaar will range over and keep that to a single. So 1 man on, 1 man out in the 8th. And that's going to bring up Davis Schneider. That one was just a slider right down the middle from O'Brien. First pitch from O'Brien to Lukes. Nathan Lukes is going to pinch hit for Schneider and take strike one on the outside part of the plate. 0-1. Lukes has been pretty good this year. A 753 OPS with 4 home runs. 269 average. The 0-1 pitch. Outside with the sinker, 1-1. Lukes has accumulated 0.5 WAR in 48 games. That's not bad at all. The 1-1 pitch from O'Brien to Lukes. Ground ball, right-hand side. Donovan flips it to second for 1. Win. Gets him for a double play. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. It is 3-0 after a rough solo home run from Alejandro Kirk, knocked over the wall from Victor Scott. Scott is due up first in the bottom of the 8th. Hopefully Scott can turn it around after a really rough play. So let's put that into perspective. Victor Scott II has 9 outs above average, which is 99th percentile. One of the best fielders in baseball. Just a really, really rough play there. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the fielding run value, it's probably down by half a run after that play, because that's a whole run almost. It's just, it was going to be a double, so still worth something as a double. So you can't take a full run value away from Scott, but did give up a run there by popping the ball over the wall. Very rare situation where your defense can cost a pitcher to that degree. And he reached up trying to catch it, so I mean, it's not like he made a ridiculous mistake. It was just unfortunate. So it'll be Scott, it will be Nootbaar, it will be Wynn. That's a couple of guys that you feel really, really good about before Donovan and Contreras. You could really get a rally going here. Just need to get the first man on. And Brendan Little, I believe, will still be pitching. I think that's the right guy. 1.14 whip, 1.55 ERA. I mean, best whiff in baseball. I think that would be a good guy to continue to pitch. So let's get ready for that. Alrighty. Victor Scott versus Brendan Little. Here's the first pitch. Low and away, check swing. He did not go. It's 1-0. The 1-0 pitch to Scott. Swing and a miss on a sinker. It's 1-1. And the 1-1 is low and away. So now we're live. 2-1 on Victor Scott. Scott is 0 for 2 today. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Just inside with the sinker, 3-1. Tomorrow, the game is at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. 3-1 pitch to Scott. He is outside, but he gets the call. That is a rough call. It looked like ball 4. Little gets a very nice call for the Blue Jays. Pretty favorable there. Hopefully Scott can still turn it into something. The 3-2 pitch from Little. Fouled it off his foot. Good composure from Scott. Let's see if he can just work a long at bat, maybe a walk. Pass the torch here. A walk is almost as good as a homer as the outs close down on you late in the game. Just try to pass the torch, give a teammate a chance. Little is at pitch number 10. The 3-2 pitch to Victor Scott. Fouled off again. So really nice at bat from Scott. Already worked a walk that just didn't go his way. Hopefully he can get that call pretty soon. Three-two pitch from Little to Scott. That one called inside, and that's ball 4. It was strike 3, but Little didn't get that call. And he complained to the umpire, but he already walked Scott and didn't get the right call there. So the umpire's just calling the ball a little bit outside here. Here comes Nootbaar against Little, with Victor Scott on first base, a chance for a rally. First pitch to Newt. He is outside 1-0. That was a sinker. Way off the plate. Nootbaar is 0 for 3 with a ground out and 2 foul outs today, so hopefully he can keep it in play. The 1-0 pitch. Outside again, 2-0. Little has been actually much better against right-handed hitters this year, so it's really strange to see them going lefty-lefty. 2-0 pitch to Nootbaar. That one's in there for a strike with a sinker at the bottom of the zone, 2-1. Little has a 750 opposing OPS against lefties and a home run allowed against lefties this year. Here's the 2-1 to Nootbaar. In the dirt with the sinker, 3-1. Three-one pitch from Nootbaar to Little. That one's in there for a strike with a sinker on the inside corner, 3-2. Smart at-bat from Nootbaar. He's seeing a lot of pitches, looking for something that he wants to hit, and working deep into the count. The 3-2 pitch from Little to Nootbaar. Swing and a miss on a sinker inside, and that would have been ball 4. Tough swing for Nootbaar. 1 out with Scott on first for Mason Wynn. Really nice pitch from Little. Had some movement inside, but Nootbaar could have taken it. Just a really tough pitch to take, though. So 1 man on, 1 man out. It is Victor Scott on first. Mason Wynn at the plate. First pitch from Little is outside 1-0. Scott has 2 flyouts and a pop out, so hopefully he can just bring it down, make it a line drive. Maybe put one in the gap. 1-0 pitch to Mason Wynn. Right down the middle, pulled for a base hit. So Mason Wynn makes it 2 men on with 1 out. Absolute rocket right to left field. That one was right at Luke's, now in left field. That was 92 miles an hour, just hanging out right down the middle. And Wynn did not miss it. So 2 men on. That'll bring up Brendan Donovan with the lefty-lefty matchup. Little's been worse against left-handed hitters this year, so maybe Donovan can turn this into something. Runners on first and second. First pitch to Donovan. In the dirt with the curveball, 1-0. Donovan hitting .317 this year, is 1 for 3 in the game. Huge chance here, with 2 men on and 1 man out in the 8th. The 1-0 pitch to Donovan. In there for a strike, up and in, 1-1. That was just a 94 mile an hour sinker. Up and in on the hands. The 1-1 pitch from Little to Donovan. Ground ball foul, 1-2. Donovan is hitting .322 with runners in scoring position this year. That's just barely above his regular average, so it must not affect him too much. Does have a home run in these spots. The 1-2 to Donovan is in the dirt, 2-2. Little seems a little frustrated here. I guess he's always a little frustrated when he is frustrated. So The Blue Jays are playing Donovan to Pole. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, and down goes Donovan. He chased a curveball outside. 2 outs now. That'll bring up Wilson Contreras. So Contreras is the tying run at the plate with a chance, with a platoon advantage against the guy who's thrown a lot of pitches here in the 8th. So that means the Blue Jays are going to go out and talk to him or go to Rodriguez. That is it for Little. So Little did a pretty good job there, but did allow a couple of runners to reach. So let's see what Rodriguez has been up to this year. Oh, there's a lot of Rodriguez's. Might have to double check the first name. This is the one, Yariel Rodriguez, 0.94 whip, 2.61 ERA. He was a lot worse last year, so let's see when he gets got, how does it happen? He's actually appeared in more games this year than he did last year, but had much more innings last year as a starter. So what got him? It was walks. So Contreras can work a long at bat here. And he was not a lot of ground balls. So maybe a line shot into a gap would be good. He didn't give up a lot of barrels, just 6.3%. This year, though, he's given up a lot of barrels, 13.5%. So is there anything consistent? He does give up soft contact, so maybe a home run is less likely. But a lot of barrels, so finding a gap definitely possible here for Contreras. So yeah, if you find a gap, you could drive in a couple of runs and then you get Herrera up. That would be a great opportunity for Contreras. I think that's what we can look for here. He's a hard hit ball into a gap. We can see a lot more clearly once we see Yariel throw a pitch, because you can kind of see it in the movement of the ball. If we look kind of at his pitch mix, it's fastball 42% of the time, slider 36% of the time. Those are the big pitches for him, and then he does have a splitter. So here we go. Yariel Rodriguez, this season he's thrown 31 innings to a 2.61 ERA. That's pretty good. But let's see what Contreras has for him. As the Blue Jays call time, they're going to give a little scouting report. All right, here we go. 2 men on, 2 men out in the 8th. A 3-run game in favor of the Blue Jays. Here's the first pitch from Rodriguez. It's outside, 1-0 on Contreras. Contreras is 0 for 1 today with 2 walks. Does have 7 home runs on the year. The Blue Jays are playing him to pull. The 1-0 pitch. Driven the other way for a base hit. 1 run's going to come around to score. It could be extra bases. Victor Scott scores. It is just a single. Runners at first and third with 2 outs in the 8th. It is 3-1 now in favor of the Blue Jays. So the Cardinals get 1 back in the 8th. Nice piece of hitting by Contreras. And we will see if Herrera can keep it going. That was a hanging slider. He put the end of the bat on it and drove it the other way. Good patience by Contreras. And he spun it down that right field line. Didn't hang up too much, but it was just enough for Contreras to go down and get it. Here comes Ivan Herrera with runners at the corners and 2 outs. First pitch from Rodriguez to Herrera. He is up and away with the fastball, 1-0. Herrera is 1 for 3 today. He is yet to strike out in the game, so ahead in the count right now, he'll probably put it in play. Let's see if he can find a gap. The 1-0 pitch to Herrera. Hanger, it's pulled down the left field line. And gone. A 3-run home run for Ivan Herrera puts the Cardinals on top. It's 4-3 St. Louis in the 8th. A monster 3-run go-ahead homer from Ivan Herrera. 370 feet, 107 off the bat, and the Cardinals take a 4-3 lead with 2 outs. Unbelievable rally, great patience all game, waiting for Berrios to get out of the game, and Herrera is the one that delivers. Unbelievable. What a rally right when they needed it. And that will bring up Arenado. First pitch is up and in, 1-0. Herrera with a curtain call, the crowd going wild. They all stayed to watch it. Incredible atmosphere in St. Louis. The 1-0 pitch from Rodriguez to Arenado. Inside, fly ball, playable in center field. I think it is still Class A out there, makes the grab. We'll go to the 9th. The Cardinals now have a 4-3 lead. Let's see if Helsley can get loose in time to save after this 3-run bomb from Herrera gives the Cardinals a 4-3 lead. It'll be Clement, Clase, and Bichette. You have to assume it's Helsley. He's been above average this year, but not by much. Gets the strikeouts, gets the whiffs, gets the chase. You expect that out of him. The questions have come from this walk rate at 11.7%, hard hit rate at 47%. Exit velo is really high. Did he ever really force soft contact, though? Like, let's go to his best years, which should probably be 2024, actually. Not really, right? The average exit velo was always high. The walk rate was always pretty high. But let's see. He was actually pretty good in 2023, but that was a short span. Even when he was just elite across the contact numbers, the exit velocity was always still up there, so I wouldn't be that worried about that. Helsley is Helsley. He just needs to put it in the zone. Don't walk too many guys, especially with a 1-run lead. So this was a great game for the Cardinals, especially because they saved their bullpen. The rest of the bullpen, not named Helsley, is going to be ready for the rest of the series, and all they have to do is save this 9th inning, and they'll be sitting pretty to try to win the series against the Blue Jays. Herrera, absolutely clutch. He's been the best hitter, and there it is again. All right, here we go. Helsley versus Clement. Here's the first pitch of the 9th. It's a strike, a slider right down the middle. It's 0-1. Helsley trying to close out a 4-3 victory for the Cardinals. They scored all 4 runs in the bottom of the 8th. Most of them on that 3-run blast from Herrera. First pitch to... Sorry, the 0-1 is chased. It's 0-2 on Clement. I really don't do well with... after an exciting moment like that, just being able to settle back in. But here we go. The 0-2 from Helsley to Clement. Ground ball foul. Still 0-2. Cardinals really hoping that Helsley doesn't get worked too hard here. Trying to put away Clement with this 0-2 count. Try to get these 8 and 9 hitters before the top of the order can scare you at all. Helsley's ready. 4th pitch of the 9th, the 0-2 pitch. In the dirt, 1-2. Ernie Clement is hitting .276 with a .702 OPS this year, which is a little bit below league average. 3 home runs on the year. Here's the 1-2. Missed down and away with the slider, 2-2. 2-2 pitch from Helsley to Clement. Way upstairs, 100 miles an hour, a couple feet above the zone. It's 3-2. Over in Philadelphia in the 11th inning, the Phillies did win 4-3 over the Cubs, so the Cardinals will get a game in the division if they win against both teams, as the Braves are up 7-1 over the Brewers. Here's the 3-2 pitch from Helsley to Clement. Or Clement. Popped up, but looks like it's going to get into the seats, and it will. So still a full count on Ernie Clement. For a guy named Ernie. Pretty cool looking guy here. All right, here's the 3-2 pitch from Helsley to Clement. Popped up. Playable at short for Mason Wynn. And the first out is secured. 1 out in the 9th. That's going to bring up Jonathan Clase, or a pinch hitter. You'd expect a pinch hitter here. Although Clase is 1 for 3 on the day. He is really fast, so maybe he could bunt. They are going to send him up there. So we'll see if they try to bunt once again. 1 out, nobody on. Here's the first pitch from Helsley to Clase. Up and away at 100, 1-0. That's the other thing, is if you're not a huge guy, and Clase is, I believe, 5'10", it's a tough strike zone. So maybe that has something to do with it. The 1-0 pitch from Helsley. 101 above the zone, fouled back, 1-1. So maybe an ill-advised swing there from Clase, as Helsley's not finding the zone super well. And he had the count advantage, but gave Helsley a gift on a foul ball above the zone. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Clase. That slider missed low and in. It's 2-1. I do wonder if teams waited out against Helsley, because it's not a terrible strategy. Clase did have a bunt single. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Right down the middle. He actually smokes this one high in the air to deep center field, and that ball's going to be gone. A blown save for Helsley, and it's 4-4 in the 9th. Jonathan Clase with his first home run of the year, his 6th RBI, 415 feet at 107 miles an hour off the bat. Out of every option, this guy was probably the least likely to homer. But it was 98, it was center cut right down the middle. Gave him the velocity to work with, and these guys are big league hitters. Smoked that one above the Bet365 sign. And it's tied. So Helsley with another blown save. It's back-to-back for him. And that's going to bring up Bo Bichette. So the Cardinals will need some more from their offense today, at the very least. First pitch is low, 1-0 on Bichette. So I guess you don't have to wait him out if you can hit a home run. Bichette is 1 for 4 today, does have an RBI. Here's the 1-0. Goes the other way, 1-1. Fifteenth pitch of the inning from Helsley. The 1-1 pitch is low, 2-1. So if you're the Cardinals here, you might want to warm up a member of the bullpen. Herrera doesn't have that smile on his face anymore. That's kind of sad, but still a monster shot from Herrera. We can't forget about it so soon. All you got to do is score in the 9th. Here's the 2-1 pitch to Bichette. Ground ball off his foot, 2-2. Helsley's ready. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Strike 3. Bichette thought it was a pitch clock violation. He backed out of the box and instead took strike 3. So the manager's going to be out there with some words for the umpire. Is this reviewable? If he's starting his windup at the bottom of the pitch clock, I mean, is anyone really mad? You can't just back out. Like, what in the world was that? All right, whatever. 2 outs. Here comes Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He takes one at the top of the zone. That was a strike, but it was called a ball. It's 1-0. Guerrero Jr. does have a single back in the 7th. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Right down the middle, pulled and past the glove of Arenado. It's going to get into the corner for extra bases. Arenado usually makes that play. That kind of shocked me. It's going to be a double. So Guerrero Jr. on second, and that's going to bring up Addison Barger with the go-ahead run in scoring position. Arenado just didn't get there. I mean, playable ball. Just shot under his glove. It wasn't under his glove on like a dive. It was just, he just didn't get low enough, which is really, really rare. It was an absolute rocket. I'm not going to downplay the hit. But Dusty Blake is going to go talk to Helsley. Give Arenado a chance to settle back down. And what comes after a very exciting moment for the Redbirds is some stress here late in the game. After what felt like a fantastic 8th inning, which it was, Cardinals will still have more work to do if they want to come away with a win today. It'll be Burleson, Vlade, and Scott going forward. Cardinals did make a defensive play by going with Pajes at catcher, so Herrera is out of the game now. So that might make a difference in extras if we get all the way out there. Here's the pitch to Barger from Helsley. In there with the curveball for a strike. That was 77. So that probably looked a little weird to Addison Barger. After all of the wicked stuff Helsley can throw, here's the 0-1 pitch now with 2 outs in the 9th. That one 102 below the zone, 1-1. You really don't expect him to be ready for the slider after seeing the curveball and the fastball, unless he's just swinging in between, which is not a good strategy. The Cardinals plan Barger to pull the 1-1, swing and a miss on the slider. There you go. Great job by Helsley working all of his pitches in. Barger was all in on the fastball there. Let's see what Helsley wants to do now. He's going to call time. The Blue Jays do have 12 hits today. 4 runs scored. Here's the 1-2 to Barger in the 9th. Inside, fouled off of his leg. That one's going to hurt. Pretty direct contact into the calf. He's going to have to walk that one off. That was the fastball inside. And yeah, he hit it maybe shin side of the knee, actually. Thought it maybe hit further back, but that was over by the shin. So 2 outs, 1-2 count. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. on second in a 4-4 ball game in the 9th. The 1-2 pitch from Helsley. Swing and a miss on a slider below the zone. Down goes Barger. But the game was tied on a home run from Clase, the unlikely hero for the Blue Jays. Let's see if the Cardinals can get something going in the bottom half. So Burleson, Vlade, and Scott, I mean, you know, so Vlade, he's 26, hasn't had a great career. Does hit the ball hard so far this year, 96.6 average exit velo. All right, so let's see. This is Burleson, Vlade, Scott. So it's going to be lefty, righty, lefty. And then you have lefty and Nootbaar. So pretty much all lefties. You expect them to go to a lefty. Do they have one? So it could be Jeff Hoffman if they just go to their closer. Could be Fluharty or Lauer. I'm going to grab Fluharty's stats. 0.8 whip, he's been great. Yeah, definitely this guy. So yeah, and if you have this, you leave Vlade in because what else are you going to do? Cardinals, if you look at the available righties, it could be Pozo. That's really it. And you can't really have Pozo play in the field, so you could go Barrero, but you already have Vlade in the game, so it just doesn't make sense. All right, the game is back. It's going to be Alec Burleson. Alec Burleson at the plate. First hitter of the bottom of the ninth. First pitch. Just outside, I guess. It caught the corner but didn't get the call. It's 1-0. They decided to stick with the Yariel Rodriguez, which I think might be a mistake. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Burleson. Top of the zone, ripped, but a nice play at second is made by Jimenez. 1 out in the ninth. It's going to bring up Vlade, who is 0 for 1 with a strikeout today. Here's the first pitch from Yariel Rodriguez to Vlade. Just caught the outside corner for a strike. I don't know about that one. It's 0-1. This umpire's been inconsistent, but it is what it is. It's been both sides. Here's the 0-1 to Vlade. Popped foul, 0-2. Middle of the field is wide open. Rodriguez is ready. Here's the 0-2 to Vlade. Swing and a miss on a slider low and away. 2 down now in the ninth, and that'll bring up Victor Scott. So 1 out away from extra innings here. Let's see if Victor Scott can be the hero and take himself to second base. A single, he could steal second against, well, Nootbaar's at the plate, or he could hit for extra bases here and give Nootbaar a chance. Nootbaar also is an extra base hit waiting to happen if he reaches first, so whatever happens is good. First pitch caught the lower outside corner with the fastball, 0-1. Sticking with Rodriguez against all of these lefties is bold, but not terrible. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Victor Scott. Cued the other way for a foul ball. 0-2, that was the splitter. Scott is ready. 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss on a splitter outside, and we're going to extra innings in St. Louis tonight. It's going to be Kirk, Springer, and Jimenez against whoever the Cardinals have ready. It's going to be Maton. So let's go grab Maton's numbers. Was there an actual chat message? Did I see a chat message? Nope. Oh well. So Maton's been pretty good this year. 71st percentile in pitching value. Really good peripheral numbers, but it doesn't throw super hard. But literally everything's good, except, I mean, the walk rate's a little bit high at 7.1, but that's still above league average. Doesn't get a lot of chase, but does get a lot of whiff, so we can figure that out. But, I mean, he's consistently good every single year. Cardinals were able to get him. It was a great choice. Last year he was above average as well. So Phil Maton slipping under the radar. He'll be pitching in the 10th now. So I'll be right back. All right, first pitch to Kirk missed. It's 1-0. We are in the 10th. Kirk is 3 for 4 today. He's not the guy you want up at the plate. Wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to put him on, but you can get 3 outs without doing that. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Alejandro Kirk. Caught the outside corner, 1-1. Maton settling in. The 1-1 to Kirk. Smoked high in the air to left field. And that one's going to get down off the base of the wall. Nootbaar plays it on a hop. And Kirk is going to have the go-ahead double for the Blue Jays. And this one has become a challenge now in the 10th. Blue Jays have a 1-run lead, and the Cardinals need to keep it that way. Someone holds up a Canadian flag in the crowd. Great game so far for the Blue Jays. They just keep tacking on ones. Hopefully Maton can hold them right there on this next hitter. I'll be right back. All right, that brings up George Springer, who takes the first pitch for a ball. Here's the second pitch to Springer. Check swing. Did he go? No, he didn't. 2-0. Blue Jays pinch run for Kirk at second base with Rodin, a fast pinch runner. Kirk will finish today 4 for 5 with 2 RBIs. An incredible day for Kirk. One of the main reasons they're potentially going to win this one. The 2-0. Driven high in the air to right field, but that one's going to get out of play. 2-1. The 2-1 pitch to Springer. He's low and away with the cutter. 3-1. On deck is Andrés Jimenez. Double play ball could be necessary. You really have to prevent the 1 run from scoring at all costs here, so might be a good idea to pitch around Springer. Let's see what Maton does. The 3-1 pitch. Curveball caught the upper inside corner. 3-2. So that's a good idea from Maton. Maybe a strikeout. Maton is ready. 3-2 pitch to George Springer. Upstairs with the cutter, and that's ball 4. So Springer reaches, still nobody out in the 10th. 5-4 Blue Jays. That's going to bring up Andrés Jimenez. Cardinals looking for a ground ball. This is Maton's 3rd hitter, so he has to face him. Hopefully he can get the contact. Actually, it's his 4th. But here's a ground bunt over to Arenado. He'll field that one and make the play, but the second run of the inning is now at 3rd with just 1 out in the 10th. So it's strikeout or it is intentional walk time for the Cardinals, with Nathan Lukes due up next. Really smart sacrifice bunt by the Blue Jays. They know that second run is going to be a huge one if they're able to get it. And the Cardinals will intentionally walk Lukes to face Ernie Clement. Probably Clement. Ernie Clement. Just doesn't roll off the tongue. But either way, he is 1 for 4. Has scored a run today. First pitch from Maton to Clement. Ground ball foul. 0-1. Strikeout would be huge here, so would a ground ball. Cardinals are playing him to pull. He's shown the affinity for that left side of the infield so far today. Here's the 0-1 from Maton. Ground ball left side. Arenado steps on the bag, goes to first, and it is a double play. And the Cardinals only allow the automatic runner to score, so they go to the bottom of the 10th, down by 1, with a runner starting on second, and Nootbaar, Wynn, and Donovan due up. So the Cardinals actually have a decent chance now because it'll be Victor Scott on second base. Top of the order. Let's see if we can rally. So Nootbaar really needs to turn this game around. He's 0 for 4. I'm going to be right back. Alrighty. Newt Bar due up first. Let's see. Ariel Rodriguez, is he still going to be on the mound? He used to be a starter, so he could keep going. He's been pretty good this year. Just wouldn't recommend it. Let's see. They're going to go to Hoffman. Oh, the closer. Oh, okay. I mean, this is not a normal save situation, but it is a save situation. So it makes sense. How's his strikeout rate? He has not been great this year, but the strikeout rate is great. About 36%. So one guy will probably strike out in this inning. Let's really hope it's not Newt Bar, because you really got to move that runner over. These first two guys, Newt Bar and Wynn, we really need them not to strike out. Try to move Scott over and drive him in, or do more. Wouldn't mind seeing more. Here's the first pitch to Newt Bar in the 10th. Check swing foul ball, it's 0-1. Something that's gotten a few hitters today. The unfortunate check swing foul ball. A really weird shift going on by the Blue Jays here. Playing Newt Bar to pull. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Right in there for a strike. With the fastball, it's 0-2. So Hoffman way ahead of Newt Bar now. Let's see if Newt Bar can put together an at-bat or at least put the ball in play on the right side of the field. Scott on second, nobody out in the bottom of the 10th. The Cardinals trail 5-4. Here's the 0-2. Up and away, 1-2. That was the splitter. A lot of teams using the splitter kind of like a changeup now. But they can kind of use it up in the zone as well. 1-2 from Hoffman to Newt Bar. Splitter at the bottom of the zone. Got him to chase, and down goes Newt. So one out. Did not move the runner over, and now it'll come down to hits. Can Wynn or Donovan get a hit? That was a great splitter from Hoffman. Dropped right below the barrel. Newt Bar finishes 0 for 5 with 2 strikeouts, barring a very long extra inning game, giving him another at-bat. So here comes Mason Wynn. He is 1 for 4 with 1 run scored today. First pitch from Hoffman. Drops that slider right in there for a strike. 0-1. Wynn does have a single back in the 8th inning. Did score a run on the rally right before Herrera homered. The 0-1. Ground ball up the middle. It's going to be playable for Jimenez. He'll make the throw, and Wynn goes down. 2 outs with Victor Scott on third, and the game's going to come down to Brendan Donovan. Cardinals' best hitter against the closer of the Blue Jays. What better final matchup for the 10th than this? Which may not be the final matchup. Hopefully not. Donovan is 1 for 4 with a strikeout today. Looking to keep that average up. First pitch from Hoffman to Donovan. Swing and a miss on a splitter below the zone, 0-1. Donovan went up there looking to do damage, and Hoffman took advantage. Scott on third. Donovan's got to find some patience here. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Fastball up and in, fouled back. It's 0-2. So the Blue Jays are 1 strike away from victory, but the tying run on third with 2 outs in the 10th. Donovan, the last hope for the Cardinals, with a big hole up the middle of the field. Here's the 0-2 pitch from Hoffman. Smoked deep to center field, but it's going to be caught by Clase, and the Blue Jays win. 5-4 victory, showing some resilience. From Toronto, they score 2 runs in the first and second innings. It was just a series of ones. It was a total of 5 runs, all scored in separate innings. Cardinals had a huge 8th where they scored 4, but it was not enough after a blown save from Ryan Helsley. And we'll see you guys soon. Really rough.